Hello, boys, babes, and all of you beans in between. Welcome back to All the Blocks, and guess what? Someone finally did it. They have given me the most hated block in Minecraft. I'm not talking diorite. I'm not talking granite. I'm not talking any of those. I'm talking about purpur. Someone gave me purpur. No, don't get me wrong. They gave me two other beautiful blocks. We have mangrove, and we have warp stem. I've put myself in hell for one reason and one reason only. It is the only place that the lighting makes purpur look appealing in a large quantity. Don't get me wrong, purpur looks great in small quantities, can look great as a contrast and a detailing color. However, I was only given 3 colors. I was only given 3 blocks. Mind you, like I got the planks and stuff, and I got trapdoors, but how does one adequately display purpur like this? Thank you for coming to watch me suffer. Let's see how this gets done. Where do I start? I obviously am sitting here going, okay, what colors complement and go with this? And the first thing I saw was, okay, I was given warp stem. Let's put it in the biome that's from. Like, let's put it in an environment that this makes sense for. So, obviously, I picked nether because it kind of doles out the purple and the purpur. But I wanted a space that looks like maybe something can go here. Okay, now what do I build? Think simple, think quick, think, okay, let's see how we do this. The next big thing then fell into, okay, how do I make this not look like a clown house? Because I decided that we had done too many organic builds so far. Like in my brain, it was just, we've done the Victorian, we did the tugboat, but like overall, outside of 3 houses, everything else has been very organic or extreme. So we were trying to figure that out, going, okay, cool, let's do a house, let's do modern. I haven't done modern yet, so I gotta find a place to put a modern house. How do I make that work? Okay, cool, great, cool. We've cleaned out this area. We're looking at this. How do we do this? Do I make it big? Do I include the block as the primary color palette? Do I detail it with it? What am I doing? Let's see. Okay, where am I going with it? What am I supposed to be trying to achieve? And that's when it struck me that I have no bloody clue what I'm doing. So we started with mangrove. Mangrove is a good, solid color. It looks interesting in its environment. It's not too detailed. I love it in the overworld. It looks beautiful, just about everything. It's great. It's wonderful. The reds are vibrant and gorgeous. Now, we fall down into what is the warped? Okay, warped is a blue vibrancy. Okay, cool. So we picked our biome using that because that was the best way to find a way to like tone down the purpur, tone down some of that. Okay, what do I do with the purpur? Now, I will admit, there were 4 different iterations of this house. I used World Edit, I built a structure, and I just kept swapping what each block was doing in the structure. And I finally came down to the solution of purpur goes on top. What does that mean? Purpur is going on the roof. That's what it is. The purpur is the roof. Why is that important? Well, where else are you going to put it? It's got the tiling structure. It looks like it could be maybe a tiled roof. Maybe it could be a tiled floor, but even then that's extreme. And neither of these other blocks have a tiling that could use to counteract it, like you could do with you have the blackstone and the diorite makes a really nice like linoleum tiled floor. Great. Don't have that here. That's not an option, unfortunately. And mind you, I had 3 or 4 different sets of eyes on this that gave me feedback on it. Overall, within I'm not mad about it, but it's definitely not my proudest build. And I can admit that repeatedly. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm happy with how it came out. I'm still a little iffy on it. I'm still a little bit on the side of, it could be better. But, how? That's where I want your feedback. Most folks have, I appreciate very greatly, praised my builds. I want to hear how you guys would have done this. What would you want to do with this block? Palette, even if it on this exact structure style, how would you have done it? On a completely different idea, what would you have done? Because I did for a short period think maybe I should just build like a flower with it, which I felt like that was the quick opting out of the thing. Like I wanted to genuinely give it an effort, put in a struggle, see if I could maybe make it look like a structure, like someone's house. Now, the sleek modern look with the like 3 different set aside blocks, don't know if that was the best choice, but it came out all right. I tried my best to make sure like there was plenty of open airy spaces that you could look through and have windows, but I don't hate it. But I'm not sure how to feel about it, so let's make the environment fit more. What do I do with this? I genuinely don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. Okay, obviously it can't be floating, so we gotta like plug in the space, fill it in so it's not just a floating build. Like obviously that's the basics here. But like, what do you do with this? How do you make this any better? And I'm not saying I hate it. Once again, I don't hate this. This is definitely the first, like, I feel genuinely challenged by the concept of this color palette, which I'm not saying I haven't loved building the other stuff. Don't get me wrong. This is just the first one that's like genuinely given me like a level of, what am I doing? What is the meaning of this? How do I handle this? That's what we're dealing with here. Like that's how it's shaping up visually. Like how am I supposed to appropriately and adequately depict a design? Now let me do this a little bit here so I don't feel so bad about it being floating. But like what do you do with it? That's what I'm sitting here trying to figure out. Like, how does one go about making this look better? And I've got some small ideas. Like, I kind of, don't get me wrong, I actually really like this interior. Like, it is a genuinely spacious space. But I'm also, like, as I continue looking at it, I think about the builds I've done over on Hypermind with the color palettes in there, which are equally stark in contrast, because I used Acacia. Like, Acacia is one of the other really hated blocks. I used Acacia, Pink, and Junglewood. So I'm starting to, like, it's warming up. It's warming up. I'm warming up to it. It's just one of those, like, how do you... Oh, I missed a spot. How do you do... Like, what do you do with this? What is this? Now, personally, I wish... And I know there's texture packs for this. I wish that the Purpur block was a little darker. Or a little lighter, closer to a lavender, instead of this... I don't know how to describe this other than off-color Pepto-Bismol. Like, that's what the feeling of that color is for me. And that's what I struggle with for that. And so, like, outside of us plugging in more of these blocks to fill in gaps and spaces and make things look like they belong, physically in the space, I don't know how to complement this build without adding more of the blues, which I'm not against doing. But I don't know if it's the right answer. Like, that's where I'm struggling with this. Like, I think the best thing right now is to add things like cauldrons or pots with plants on it and make it feel like someone lives here. But beyond that, I don't know what to do with it. I'm going to ponder. I'm going to fix all of the, like, discolored netherrack with the beautiful blue so it just has more of a contrast against it. But we'll see. We'll see what I do. We'll see what I do. We'll see. Okay, so I did some stuff. And I hate it less. Don't get me wrong, it's still a very abrasive palette. However, it is growing on me. And I need to also remind folks, I don't hate Purpur as much as other people do, but it's not my favorite. And that's mostly because I'm not a fan of pinks and purples. Me and pinks and purples just don't vibe. It's not my cup of tea. It's not what I like looking at. I prefer blues and greens and dark, like, I believe the term is dark academia palettes. Like those kinds of things. The stuff you see on a rainy day. I love those. So I felt like throwing in like dark fire pit. So you have somewhere like just come sit away from the build. It's got this fun little, I made this little guy and then that guy was there already. He was pretty cool looking. But I have those guys. I put the blue and I've put in some little bits and bobs on the ground. We got these little pots with mushrooms and these little, what are these called? No, the torch flowers. Got some of those floating around. I lit up with soul lanterns just because it goes with the palette anyway. I was going to do regular lanterns, and then I realized that these are already perfect. So I don't dislike it. but it definitely is not my favorite build yet. But it came out overall pretty good. I will admit that these like strips on the roof were an attempt to break up the Purpur pallet without like disrupting the interior, because I wanted the ceiling in here to be pretty simple. But by doing those over the edges where like the roof attached, to give it this energy of like it's kind of stamped down there, so it kind of like gives like a thatched feeling, but it's not thatched obviously. But it's not bad. It's not bad. I will admit this window is my absolute favorite because of the interior. Before we move on from this strange atrocity I've committed, but I love these because it looks like little shelves. And it makes it feel a weird way. There's a very cool thing you can do though if you don't like it to be like so double thick. Nope, let me up. You can do like some flowers on it. Oop, can I not? There we go. But you can use them as actual shelves, taking off the top one, so you can actually put things in your windows, which I think would be super cool if you use the armor stand data pack to like have just random trinkets stored in your windowsills, which I think is super cool. And I will admit, I used these trapdoors a little too much to compensate for the lack of a glass block. And I used these up here, which I thought was pretty nifty. But yeah, I don't hate it. Am I glad I left it in hell? Yes. Because that was the only way to accommodate this strange block palette. Okay, so PSA for next week's episode. I'm breaking my rules. I reached out to somebody that I have acquaintance with, I guess, for a block palette. And because of the palette they gave me and because of the opportunity it provides, I have broken my own rules. I've also been working on that one already, and I'm very excited with it. It's going to break all of my rules I gave myself for the series, but I can't wait to show it to you guys, and I hope you guys are looking forward to. But does not mean don't comment block palettes for next week. Go ahead and comment all your block palettes on this video. But I'm making a new rule for myself that every 10 episodes in this series, we will be breaking the rules with palettes given to me by certain people. So, on that note, make sure you comment your block palettes. I can't wait to talk to you guys next week. I really hope you're as excited for next week's content as I am. But until then, take care, drink water, and have an absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous week. And remember to think outside the block. And yes, that includes the monstrosity that is Purpur. I'll catch you guys next time. Bye now.